Hey coaches, so real quick video on exploring fast and slow thinking in coaching. This is of course based on inspired by Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, and it's a quick framework model that we can use, especially when the client would like to better understand the why, or better understand what's the root cause for the way they're behaving, or to build up from a very healthy root cause upwards to the behavior they want to use in order to express themselves well or to present themselves effectively in whatever scenario they're finding themselves in. So we start in this top-down view. What is their behavior? What did they do? How did they react? And you'll notice all this language is looking at it from the client's perspective. This is something that they can do on their own. You send it to them ahead of time, or you can walk through this resource during a session. So what did they do? How did they react in the moment? What was their body language? What did they say? What emotions did they feel? And getting specific, not just anger, but maybe frustration and so on. What was their automatic thinking? And how did they read the situation? At each of these, by the way, at each of these spots, you might ask some questions of what are you noticing? What are you learning? Not every time, because that can be a bit obnoxious, but if you notice some sort of shift as they're digging down under the surface, you might find that there's some great learning to be had that's going to be related to their agenda. So we want to make sure to take some time to look for the learning and not just go through scripted questions. So focus, where was my attention focused? What facts was I most interested in exploring or thinking about? What other information was there? Then we briefly look at the past, perhaps. What past experiences might have been called to mind? So this isn't looking to tell stories of the past, but what might be some past experiences that were called to mind? How might those experiences impacted my behavior, my thinking, my emotion? And then the assumptions. What did I believe would happen? And what do I assume about this? Now, I make this star here because it's so incredibly important to explore this jump between the experience and the emotions, the thinking that is happening very quickly. So the assumptions are related to the biases that we have, the heuristics that help us make decisions, oftentimes good decisions when we're driving in a car or when we're being chased by a lion, whatever it might be. Our assumptions that are based on experience can be very, very valuable to us. It impacts our thinking, our emotion, our behavior, but we want to make sure to control this fast response when we're in a professional setting and oftentimes in personal settings as well. So out of all the spots where you might unpack some learning, it would be in between the experience and the assumptions, and the experience assumptions combined with the thinking, because this is going to help you look at those root causes. What did I believe would happen? What do I assume about this situation? And therefore, what impact might these emotions have had on the rest of this experience? And once you've gone to the bottom, you step back as you've put all your responses over here. Just step back and say, what did you notice as you explored this? What do you want to do differently in the future? How do you want to remember? All the good stuff we've looked at before with this type of exercise. This is just a flip of it. What assumptions do you have as you think about the experience you're going to be having in the next week? What do you believe might happen? What alternative beliefs are there? And so on. So you just run this upwards. And again, you might offer a bit more exploration between assumptions and experience, just to look at those potential biases that are going to have a particularly strong impact on the client's behavior and their thinking in the moment. This is really valuable as you're helping a person consider the way they might approach a conversation, approach a decision, approach a situation, an environment, their interaction with a group of people, especially when you're working with a client who often says, I'm going to do the right behavior, whatever that behavior is. So they kind of start here with their intentions, but they haven't really unpacked the stuff that's under the surface. And without doing that, it's going to be hard to remember what's most important in this moment, other than, I'm supposed to do that behavior, I'm supposed to act in a certain way, because their brain switches from that slower thinking that they have easily available in a coaching session over to fast thinking when they're in the midst of the challenging situation. So as a coach, it's great to explore this, unpack it, and then support their development of a reminder or an exercise they can be doing ahead of time to prepare the slow thinking when their fast thinking is being triggered. Hope this is helpful. Feel free to explore this with your client as they are wanting to improve the way they show up. Thank you for coaching. Thank you for supporting your clients.